At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal, and boy, oh boy, we have got some things happening out there. I've got a little bit of a new system going on, and I'm very excited about it. It should make things a little bit more smooth transition from the 24-hour streaming channel to Coffee with Krueger. So if you watch on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, even YouTube, it's not going to break away from the 24-hour channel and then come to, so it won't break connection. Because a lot of times what would happen is you would have the 24-hour channel, it would break connection, it would go to black, or it would just kick you out altogether. But now it's a nice, smooth little transition, and now it's on there. So we don't have to worry about that anymore as well. We do have, of course, some people already kind of chiming in this morning. Let's see what... we got Lisa Stevens kind of joining us this morning, and she is saying, Happy Tuesday. Don't forget to hydrate. As I sip my coffee with caffeine, that is a dehydrator. So yes, if you drink coffee in the morning, make sure that you supplement that and drink water along with it. Or as you're maybe driving to work, for example, maybe you drink some water to help hydrate you. Because yes, definitely we need to start thinking about hydration and making sure that we stay hydrated. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, July 2nd, the second day of July. And wouldn't you know, we have started off July 1st with some pretty hot temperatures. It's only going to get hotter today and over the next few days. And some of you this morning are waking up to no power. Maybe you're watching from your phone or have a backup source to maybe get to the internet as well. But let's take a look at that right now. This is coming in from PG&E, and what you'll notice here is in western Tehama County, west of Corning, west of Gerber. You can see Flournoy, for example, some of the communities there, all without power this morning. Now, this is for safety. It's called a PSPS power outage, right? This is for safety concerns as far as fires are concerned, right? If we have a downed power line and it sparks something because it's a live wire, it can start a fire. And that's the reason why PG&E is doing this. They're not doing it to be cruel or mean. And of course, I know it's terrible, right? It's terrible timing. You can see east of Paradise in Concow area, along Highway 70, there are some power outages right now, the PSPS outages right now. We zoom out, there are no others except down to the south as you head into Colusa County and Yolo County and down south of Clear Lake as well. That's kind of getting out of our viewing area. Let's take a look at where we are, PG&E is projected. So you can see eventually parts of Shasta County may be part of this power outage. This is something you'll have to be aware of. Now, it's projected that all of these will be restored by 10 p.m. tomorrow. That's no fun. So the places that are out of power right now, it's not projected that you will get power until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So you've got to get through the heat today. You've got to get through the heat tomorrow, and then you will get power. So there are definitely going to have to be ways that you've got to stay cool out there, and that is no fun, my friends. And speaking of the heat, we got those temperatures right now on the warm side. This is what I was talking about yesterday and what I've talked about before. When you have overnight lows dropping down only into the 70s and even low 80s, that's not cool enough to help recover from the heat that we saw from the previous day, and quite honestly, we'll see for the next day. So we're going from 83 degrees right now in Redding to possibly upwards of 110 degrees. Chico 75, and it is cooler in the mountains, but again, typically it is cooler this time of the year. 47 right now in Bernie, 48 for Weaverville, 49 for Hayfork, and 52 degrees out in Eureka. So there you can see, of course, even along the coast, we're seeing some of those temperatures as well. at least dropping, right? We take a look at the visibility. Check this out. We actually have some low visibility in parts of Humboldt County. So we take you out to Elk Country, just north of Trinidad here, and you are seeing that there is plenty of fog out there. But, you know, and of course out towards Eureka, you've got some pretty low visibility there as well. But check this out. This is out in Crescent City this morning. Yeah. That looks pretty nice. So you've got the clear skies, and usually it's flip-flopped. Usually you've got the fog in Crescent City and not so much fog in Eureka. But of course, it's a different case out there today. So yeah, beautiful blue skies out in Crescent City. Then you head south, and this is what you're looking at, right? So let's take a look at those visibilities one more time and see what it looks like out there. And again, you can see, I mean, it's very dense fog out towards Eureka, Humboldt Bay. But I am anticipating that that should eventually burn off here later on this morning and afternoon. Let's get you out the door this morning. Yes, it's a warm start to the day. If you wear flip-flops and shorts and short sleeves, you can go out the door and don't have to worry about being too chilly, because it's going to be 81 degrees out the door, probably even warmer than that, especially in the Redding area. And then, of course, we've got temperatures in the 50s and 60s for the, really mainly 60s for the higher elevations, with the exception of Modoc County. And the coast, of course, eventually seeing some clearing here, especially to the north. Now, there is a red flag warning through Wednesday night, mainly due to the winds and the humidity, but also the heat is a contributing factor. Now, we look at the winds right now. They are starting to blow this morning, and especially out towards the north and west side of the valley. The wind's not as strong for places like Chico, for example. Now, as we go through the afternoon, we've got those gusty winds. Now, the winds are a little breezy in the mountains, but not to the extent of what we're seeing here in the valley, and breezy, by the way, for the coast for this afternoon. We're taking you into your Tuesday night tonight, and of course, still, those winds will continue overnight and even into tomorrow morning. What about the humidity? Well, I tell you what, it's going to be down to the single digits. This is very dry. This is not good, folks. And keep in mind that the vegetation in our area, it responds very quickly to the dryness of the air. When it's really dry, then it's easier to start a fire. When it's not as dry, it doesn't spread as quickly typically. Now, we're also noticing that we're starting to see drier conditions in Trinity County, western Siskiyou County, starting to kind of get caught up in some of those drier conditions as well. We take a look at the fire weather risk. This is just an in-house forecast model, and kind of combines the temperature, the humidity, and of course, not to mention the winds. And it kind of gives us an idea of how bad the fire danger may be. And to get those deep reds, that's getting into the extreme category for today. So we need to be extra careful out there. Not a cloud in the sky, with of course the exception of the coast, where we are seeing the fog, right? Excessive heat warning for Wednesday through Saturday for northern Humboldt County and Trinity County, and excessive heat warning through Sunday. This is, think about this. The excessive heat warning was issued several days ago. It was supposed to go through Friday. Then they bumped it up to Saturday, now Sunday. Now, will it extend beyond that? Probably not, because we are expecting actually a downward trend starting Sunday. But even though it's going to be a downward trend, it's going to be hot. Now, I want you to know, because you'll see this, and you're probably going, what? 105 to 118. Now remember, the all-time high in Redding, which hit that 3 times based on the historical records, the all-time high in Redding is 118 degrees. Could we see 118 degrees during this heat wave? I'll tell you what, it's not out of the question. I don't have it set in stone in the forecast, but I tell you what, it's going to be close. It is going to be close. Now, there are also heat advisories across the area here in Siskiyou County. You've got an excessive heat watch for Thursday through Sunday. Now, of course, that's Thursday, the 4th of July. So a lot of celebrations going on. Even up in the mountains, it's going to be hot. So if you typically go out and celebrate 4th of July in the mountains to cool off, you're going to have to go to the coast to cool off, because it's going to be hot elsewhere as well. There you can see heat advisory through Wednesday for Trinity County, southern Humboldt County, and most of Del Norte County. And check this out. Remember, I was talking about this yesterday, that the warnings and watches are going to extend northward into northern Portland, or northern Oregon, that is, and into Washington. Well, here we are this morning, and we have seen them work their way northward into northern Oregon and into southern Washington. And of course, it extends all the way down into Southern California, and of course, not to mention out in the Phoenix area. So let's talk about some records. The consecutive number of 100 plus degree days. The record was set back in 1978 with 26 straight days, almost a month, of 100 degrees or higher. July 17th through August 11th. 1969, 1971, and 2005. The second highest amount, which was 23 straight days. All right, so here's what I did. I dug a little deeper. Let's take a look at 110 degrees plus. Now, I want you to just check this out. 78, 1988, both those are the highest number of days that Reading has seen since 1893. 6 days is the highest number of days of 110 degrees or higher, consecutive days. Okay? 1920 was 5 days, August 12th through August 16th. Now, I want to point something out. I'm going to show you something to you. Remember, the 6 days is the record of consecutive days. Look at the 10-day trend in Reading. For 10 straight days, based on the forecast, it'll be 110 degrees and higher. Could we shatter that 6-day record? Only time will tell. I'll tell you what, today, borderline, okay? So could we hit 108, 109, maybe just shy of 110? Not out of the question. But I feel very confident that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and most likely even Monday will at least reach that 6-day record. But check this out. Tuesday of next week, 110, 112, a spike on Wednesday of next week, back down to 110 on Thursday. So again, when you're seeing that 110 there, you're like, oh man, that's just borderline. We may break the streak. But I think very easily we'll see at least 5 days, if not 6 days, and of course may even be beyond that. So, check that out. Doesn't that just make you sweat looking at it? Now, of course, remember I mentioned the all-time record high is 118 degrees in Reading. That was set 3 times, 1971, 1981, and 1988. We could possibly see that again. We could see that possibly this Saturday. If you need a place to cool off, in Glenn County, the public libraries are a place to cool off, as well as public health offices. Tehama County, the public libraries, and the Red Bluff Community Center. Of course, that's important, right? PG&E has shut off power in those areas. Shasta County, of course, you got the Good News Rescue Mission, but no word on any other cooling centers in Shasta County that I know of. Let me know if you know of any of the cooling centers in your area, and we'll see if we can add that to the list. Of course, I couldn't tell anything about Trinity County or anything like that, but yeah, that's something to kind of take into account. Look at the high temperatures we saw yesterday. It was over 100 degrees. 104 degrees for Reading, 105 in Red Bluff, 104 in Corning, Chico, and Orville topped out at 102. 90s for many of the higher elevations, although 82 for Mount Shasta City, 85 for Alturas, and there it is on the coast. Low to mid-60s for your daytime highs yesterday. So here's what our forecast looks like today. 108 to 110. 108 to 110 in the valley. 90s for many of the higher elevations, although you start heading up above 4,000 or 5,000 feet, you're getting into the 80s. Places like 10 and 85. 89 for Alturas, 86 for Aden. In Lassen Park, that's getting warm, but 79 degrees and upper 60s out along the coast. Let's take a look at your 7-day outlook, and we're going to take a look at, first of all, the valley. Now, of course, no big surprises there. 110 degrees or higher for Reading. For Red Bluff, 108 degrees or higher. For Chico, 109 degrees or higher, all the way for the next 10 or 7 days, really even into 10 days. Your coast, well, you're looking at temperatures back in reaching the 70s by Wednesday through at least Saturday, back down to the upper 60s by Sunday, Monday. Inland, you're 100 degrees or higher through Monday, if not longer. Could get up to 110 on Thursday. Weaverville, you could get up to 112, 114. So, yeah, Mount Shasta, Alturas, Susanville, it's going to get hot there as well. You're over 100 degrees by Thursday for Mount Shasta, 105 by Saturday. Take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning. We take a look at Lake Oroville, North Forbay. The winds are blowing a bit this morning. This, of course, is one of the reasons why I have the red flag warning. The winds are already beginning to blow this morning in some areas. Taking a look at Main Street, Chico. This is Highway 32, Main Street. Yeah, it looks like the winds are blowing. If you look closely, you'll see those trees. The leaves are blown in the wind there. So the winds are certainly kind of blowing a little bit. Not that bad, but you can see on Highway 99 at Neal Road, the camera is shaking a little bit in the wind. Just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. So the winds aren't terribly strong this morning in some areas. Unfortunately, this camera does not show motion, so we can't really illustrate the winds there. But let's do this. Let's do this, because we got another Connect camera. Let's see if we see any winds blowing there. Yeah, look at the winds. You see the trees over the Sundial Bridge there? Those are the winds a-blowing this morning. So, right? So this is, this is obviously not good. We don't want to see those winds blowing. But, that's the reality of it all. Check this out. Let's take a breather. Let's not talk about the heat right now. Let's not talk about the fire danger and just take a look at a beautiful picture. I like that. Let's take a look at a beautiful picture. This is sent to us by Owen Heed or Head. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that last name, Owen, but Owen, thank you. This is out at Neyland Airport. What a gorgeous shot. I'm not sure if that was a sunrise or a sunset. Let's see. No, I didn't have the, but either way, gorgeous. And if you look closely, silhouette up kind of on the horizon there, the silhouette of a bull. Isn't that fun? But yeah, isn't it nice to just kind of get a break, to stop talking about the heat? Hey, listen, if you want to share your photos, I'd love for you to do it. And I'm sure everybody who's watching would love to see your photos as well. Sunrise, sunsets, the fog, your pets, ways you're staying cool during the heat. I shared a picture of my son and I playing pool. And I said, and I labeled it, staying cool in the pool. Excuse me, no, staying cool in the house, playing pool. But again, just whatever you're doing, share your pictures. I'll try to share one a day. And if I get a whole bunch, maybe I'll share more than one. And you might see it right here on Coffee with Krueger. You might see it on my morning update and right on social media as well. Well, yesterday I had an issue and I couldn't get to the Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals, but today we do. Brought to you by California Veterinary Clinic and Cottonwood Small Animal Clinic. Hello everyone, Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal. This is Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. We've got Adrian from Turtle Bay. And they were, just a second ago, you were noticing right before we started shooting, they were posing together looking at the camera. But now they're not necessarily.
They're just investigating.
So what do we have in here? What do we need?
So these are Sierran tree frogs. These are the common tree frog that we have here in the valley. Have you ever heard those chirping frogs?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
These are the really loud chirping frogs.
Isn't that
Can you
amazing?
imagine that it comes from this small little
They're
frog?
so small.
Yeah. So we hear them chirping because what are they doing? Attracting a mate, of course.
That's what I do
So
when
they
I'm trying to
sing.
attract mates.
We actually call them chorus frogs. There's tree frogs like this all throughout the United States, and we call them chorus frogs because they have such a wonderful chorus,
They
just
do.
like songbirds have a chorus. And so we hear them singing throughout different times of the year, specifically when it's wet.
Okay.
Because these are frogs, they're a type of amphibian, correct? So amphibians are special because they have permeable skin. Basically that means that whatever's in the area around them can go through their skin.
Okay.
So they can breathe through their skin, they take oxygen through the water through their skin, and that also includes taking chemicals from around their environment too. So we call them an indicator species because when they're in the water in our environment, whatever is in that water is going to get into them. And we often see the effects of what we have in the environment and the chemicals that we've put into the environment on the amphibians. In fact, amphibians are in severe crisis in the wild because of habitat loss, because of habitat degradation like that, and of course the pet trade and illegal hunting, but mainly habitat destruction is the problem with amphibians. And that goes for amphibians around the world. And we've seen that as our climate gets warmer too. Most amphibians actually prefer a cooler climate. It's better for them. You can actually breathe more oxygen through your skin when it's cooler versus when it's warmer. And so a lot of that actually has to do with the effect of how it's getting warmer out there. So our Pacific tree frogs, like I said, are all over the valley here.
Yeah.
What do they do during the summertime? It gets really dry and hot.
Yeah, I'm thinking like it's hot. You were just saying they like cool environments.
Yeah,
What
well,
are they doing in
where
Reading?
where do you find them around your house?
I don't Honestly, no, because I never see them.
Well, they're going to hide in a nice moist area. So,
Okay, so like your
think
pool or
around your
something.
pool or your hot tub. If you have
Interesting.
sprinklers in your yard, I find them under my nice thick bushes that like have a lot of cover.
Yeah.
And they're going to go in what's called estivation. Estivation is when they're inactive. They're going to be a lot drier because they don't have ability to get to a lot of moisture, and they're just going to be inactive. And as soon as a rain comes or it cools down, that's when we see them get more active.
And that's when we start hearing them a little bit more.
That's when we start hearing
So
them
you won't
chirp.
really hear them in the summer, for
You don't really
example.
hear them as much in the summertime, not unless we have a nice rainy day, which how often does that happen?
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, come on. The normal
Right?
rain
We're going to
is-
be another 3 or 4 months
normal
before we see any
rain for
rain.
this month is like minus 27. No,
Yeah.
but
So
yeah, interesting.
they're super important for our environment because they eat lots of bugs and they help to keep that bug population in control. But again, we can see the effects of our environment because they are an indicator species.
Would this be something, if you found one, it's not a good idea to keep as a pet, right?
No, they don't make good pets.
I wouldn't think so.
No, just leave them alone, let them
them
do their
alone,
job out
let
there,
them be.
and do our best to keep their environment clean for them.
Absolutely, because they are, you said the word, don't let me see, impervious? What was the word?
Permeable.
Permeable. They are permeable, so they take
Go back
in,
to science class. And
Yeah, I'll go back to science class. I'll do that. Well, thank you, Adrian. Definitely some interesting information about tree frogs. They are native to this area. So if you do see one in your backyard or anywhere, just leave it be. Let it be part of the environment, and we can all live happily together. Thank you again, and we will see you
you.
next week for another Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. That was always fun. Adrian, I always look forward to just kind of breaking the mold a little bit because Adrian does really love amphibians and reptiles. So that's when we kind of break the mold from the traditional animals that we typically see at Turtle Bay. And, there's that whole building where you've got the reptiles and the amphibians, and it's really interesting. And I love her base of knowledge. So you can really learn a lot of great things. So I want to thank Adrian for what she does and how helpful she is here on Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. During the break, or during this, I was also checking out some of your comments. And Rebecca, actually now, this is kind of fun, just kind of responding to the frogs that we were just kind of looking at here. She's saying, we've been finding them hanging out on the water trough. Yeah, I mean, probably. And again, if you see them, it's not a good idea to pick them up and take them as pets. Good morning. It looks like Catherine Schmidt is saying, good morning. Grandson is heading to Mount Shasta to hike to be cool. And this is what I was saying earlier in my forecast. You're not going to be able to really go many places to cool off. Maybe if you head out towards Lassen Park, you might have some better luck here because, yeah, it's gonna cool off there, probably upper 70s for those daytime highs. I saw a comment here. Oh, here we go. Lisa J. Hibben is saying, I've got a new system here. Hopefully it kind of works out pretty good. She's saying, add sea salt or other electrolytes to your water. Plain water isn't enough. Okay, so there you go. If you want to really enhance the hydration that the water can bring you, if you add some sea salt to it or other electrolytes, then you can stay hydrated during these hot temperatures here. So thank you, Lisa, for the tidbit of advice. You learn something new every day. Oh my goodness. Maybe my system's not working so great. We've also got David Hoffman who is saying, your chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. Probably, maybe if they lay them in some water that's been sitting outside, that's been boiling in the hot water, yeah, okay, maybe. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, just a fun little joke. And it looks like Curtis Brown is saying, we have quite a few tree frogs here. Now mostly come out at night. They like our little ponds we have near the house. And you can probably hear them. It's really interesting to see just how small these tree frogs are and how much noise they can make. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of interesting to kind of see that. Let's see if we got some other comments here. Kind of just going through it all here. And yeah, we got Lisa Stevens. She's one of our regulars. She's saying good morning, happy Tuesday. Don't forget to hydrate today. And Of course, she's got the cup of coffee with the water, right? That's, again, the key. You have coffee, but make sure that you drink water with it to help kind of keep you hydrated. Well, what do you say we get to the forecast here so we can kind of talk about the heat, what we can expect, go into a deeper dive of the forecast, what we saw just here a little bit earlier. And, of course, as you may know, Coffee with Krueger is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at those current conditions out there right now. And again, this is something I've talked about and stressed over the last few days. One of the reasons and one of the criteria for these heat warnings and heat advisories and the such is because not just the daytime heat, getting up to 105, 110 or higher, but what our overnight lows are doing as well. Because the thing is, if it's really hot during the day, but it cools off into the 50s and 60s at night, you're getting relief. You're getting relief from that hot air overnight into the early morning hours, and then it heats back up again. But if it heats up and doesn't cool off a whole lot, temperatures only are already in the 80s. I mean, my wife was just outside, and she likes to kind of just hang out outside in the morning, drink her coffee, and just enjoy the fresh air. And she came back in just before I came on to Coffee with Krueger here, and she said, it's already getting warm out there. And it's not a matter of it's already getting warm. It has been warm out there, right? I mean, that's essentially what's happening. But you're noticing. You're going to notice it. You head out the door, you're like, whoa, yeah, it's supposed to be nice. There's supposed to be at least some kind of nip in the air, but that's not happening. And that's what makes it difficult. And that's why this heat can be dangerous, because we're not getting any relief at night. There you can see there is better relief in the mountains, but look at even Mount Shasta City. I mean, you're at 61 degrees right now. That's pretty warm. You head out towards Weaverville, 48, 49 for Hayfork. But again, you're dropping down to the 40s there. That certainly makes a difference in low to mid 50s along the coast. No big surprises there. So our headlines: extended heat wave this week. This weekend, going into next week. Not much relief overnight, as I mentioned. Hot, dry, windy conditions creating high fire danger. And the heat wave extends well into next week. Same headlines that I've been talking about and will talk about over the next few days. So the red flag warning will be in effect until Wednesday night. The winds, the heat, and the dry air. All three of those factors are the reason why we have the high fire danger out there over the next couple of days. The winds right now, pretty gusty in some areas. We're already seeing, we saw those cameras earlier, right? Around Chico, not as bad, but in Redding, the winds are blowing. And you're seeing those winds blowing in other areas as well. So the winds are already blowing. They'll get stronger as we go through the afternoon, and that's going to create problems for the fire danger. 10 o'clock this morning, there it is. They get a little bit stronger as we go into the afternoon. 25 over 30 miles per hour. Not as strong, but breezy for the mountains, and of course those gusty north winds even along the coast. But look at tomorrow morning. I mean, the winds are still going to be fairly strong for the valley. They pick up again in the afternoon for some of the higher elevations, but just breezy, gusty north winds for the coast. But one thing I want you to take note is that the winds, yes, they may be strong through Wednesday night and even into early Thursday morning. But look at Thursday afternoon. The winds are finally starting to relax, and that's the positioning of the main ridge of high pressure that is giving us the heat, which we'll talk about that here in a second. Let's take a look at the humidity levels. And what I want to show you here are a couple of things. Number one, how very dry it is in the typical spots that we've seen over the last week or so. But we're beginning to see the drier air work its way westward into Trinity County as well. Now check this out. As we go into Wednesday morning, we're seeing the humidity recover a little bit, but we're still down in the teens and 20s in some areas here for the valley. And it's still drier than it is tomorrow morning for some of the higher elevations, and even Trinity County, you're down to about 20%. That's low, especially for the morning hours. And of course, it'll be very dry going into Wednesday afternoon with single digits there, single digits for many parts of Trinity County as well. Taking you into your Thursday afternoon, still very dry. But again, the good news is by Thursday afternoon, at least the winds are starting to die down, so the fire danger should drop as a result. So your fire weather risk, extreme in the valley, kind of low to moderate. You see some of the yellows sprinkled in there for the higher elevations for today. But tomorrow, still look at this. Oh, I forgot to mention this too. Remember I was talking about it's very dry Wednesday morning. Look at the valley. We are in the moderate to even high range in some areas here, typically. overnight, early morning hours, we're in the green. But because of, number one, the temperature's not dropping much, the humidity very low, and the winds are blowing, we actually still have some moderate to high fire danger in the morning hours. So bottom line, don't mow any dry grass tomorrow morning. And honestly, I'd say don't mow any dry grass this entire week, and even this weekend, and even next week, because this heat's going to stick around for a while, and the dry air will stick around as well. So there you can see, of course, tomorrow, the extreme fire risk for the valley. We're seeing more yellows, oranges in the Siskiyou Valley in central Siskiyou County, and we're seeing that in Trinity County as well. Now look at Thursday. It's not as extreme, right? But still quite in the high to even very high range for the valley, and still some moderate for some of the higher elevations on Thursday. All right, so the fire potential. The orange is where we've got the high fire danger. That's the wind right here. That's what it's illustrating. But it should also show H in there because it's going to be hot and dry. That's the case going into Wednesday. You saw that. But then by Thursday, we're breaking away from the hot, well, breaking away from the wind, but still very hot and dry. So we're kind of in that moderate risk, not as high going into your Thursday and Friday. Quick reminder, I know I talked about this yesterday, but you can't pinpoint it enough. It's important to remember, don't drive on dry grass. Make sure the chains, if you're towing a trailer, are not scraping the pavement because they can create sparks, which then those sparks can then cause fires. Cigarette butts, you know what to do with them. Okay. I didn't want to go too far with that expression here, but don't throw them out the window. That's the bottom line. And of course, if you're going to use a grill, use it on gravel or a paved surface. So what I was saying, don't mow your lawn. I'd say just don't mow your lawn. Don't mow a lawn if it's dry grass for the next 7 to 10 days. Just don't do it. Not a good idea. And I wouldn't even start a fire or have a campfire either. But just don't leave them unattended, and make sure that they are completely doused with water and completely out should you start a fire or start a campfire, that is. All right, so we got the ridge of high pressure giving us the sunny skies, minus, of course, the exception of the fog that we're seeing along parts of the coast. All right, let's talk about the heat now. Excessive heat warning for the valley surrounding foothills for basically now through Sunday, through the entire weekend. So it's only Tuesday, folks. This is going to continue the heat warning through Sunday, but keep in mind, even beyond Sunday, it's going to be very hot. Excessive heat warning Wednesday through Saturday for Trinity County, northern Humboldt County. So again, it's even in the mountains. Excessive heat watch for Thursday through Sunday for Siskiyou County, Modoc County. We also have a heat advisory for tomorrow, or through tomorrow, for Trinity County, southern Humboldt County, and into Del Norte County as well. This extends from southern Washington all the way down to Southern California. This is something I actually mentioned yesterday that we're going to start to see because we saw these yesterday, right? And I was saying, it's going to work its way northward. And that's exactly what's happened here this morning. We're seeing those excessive heat watches working their way into northern Oregon and southern Washington as well. This is affecting the entire western United States. So the ridge of high pressure, classic setup. Several factors with this high pressure. Number one, the heat, okay? But number two, the high fire danger I was talking about. The clockwise rotation around that high, classic setup for those gusty north winds that we're going to see here for today and tomorrow. But as this area of high pressure begins to work its way eastward, we're no longer within that flow. The winds are here now. They're not necessarily on top of us. So the winds are much calmer on Thursday, but it's beginning to warm up. Now the main bubble of heat is still to our south. So the peak of the heat wave isn't here just yet on the 4th of July. But as we go into Friday and Saturday, look what's happening. You see how this is working its way northward. The bubble of heat is right on top of us Friday and Saturday. This is when I expect some of the hottest temperatures. Now, what do I mean by bubble of heat? Here's a bubble. Here's a dome of high pressure. All right. The top of the dome, that's the hottest temperatures. The outer perimeter of the dome, those temperatures are not as hot. Okay. So here, say 100 degrees, here 110 degrees, right? So you get the idea. So that dome is right on top of us, the center of it, outer perimeter, not as hot. So look what happens as we go into Sunday, Monday, even into Wednesday. That dome by Sunday is now down to our south, the center of the dome. We're on the outer fringes of that dome of high pressure. However, don't let that fool you because it's still going to be very hot. Look where the cold air is. Still over the Gulf of Alaska. It can't break through this ridge of high pressure. It just can't. But what it is helping to do is to take that heat and push it down to the south and east. But again, it's still going to be 105, 110. I think we'll finally break below 110 degrees by around Tuesday of next week, and especially Wednesday. Of course, the temperature outlook, no big surprises here. July 10th through the 16th, we're going to be looking at above normal temperatures. The 10-day trend, as I was mentioning, again, and this is something I want to point out, and I pointed out earlier. This is looking at 10 days. Look at the temperature. Not one of these days for Reading is below 110 degrees. Now, if this verifies and holds true, then we're going to be looking at 10 straight days of 110 plus degree temperatures. However, give or take here, and here. So this could break the trend, but feel pretty confident that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 days. That could tie the record of the consecutive number of days historically since 1893 that Reading has seen 110 degrees or higher consecutively. The highest number is 6 days, set in 1978, 1988, and then 5 days in 1920. I think we could easily see this. There's a possibility we could even see 6 or higher. We could even break it. All right, let's take a look at some of the record highs and breaking those records. Doesn't look like we're going to break any records today, tomorrow, or even Thursday. But of course, that may change as we get later in the week and into the weekend. Same thing for the mountains, although it's not until Thursday that Mount Shasta may break a record. You may get close to it by tomorrow. We take a look at El Turris. No record breaker today. Oh, that's for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's not right. Don't pay attention to that. Scratch it. Take a look at Susanville. Yeah, we could break a record on Thursday. So you get the idea. Even though we've got this oppressive heat and it's going to stick around for a while, we're not going to really just shatter these records. We're not seeing records getting shattered, which is crazy, right? But there you can see, of course, even for the coast, we're getting close. I mean, 76 is the record for tomorrow and Thursday. So we're not going to get quite that high, but we're still going to be well into the 70s. So the wave heights, they're going to be pretty high out there. Small craft advisory this afternoon, that'll probably be upgraded eventually. And then, of course, Wednesday, we're not going to see much change there. So the marine forecast, north winds at 25 to 30 knots. Could see some stronger gusts out there. And, of course, there's that small craft advisory. Here's what it looks like today, your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Whew, look at that. 100 degrees or higher all the way through Monday. Temperatures, of course, you can see about 102 degrees for Weaverville. You start heading into some of those higher elevations, mid to upper 90s there. And we take it to the south, out towards Hayfork, with a high of about 99 for all intents and purposes. We'll probably hit 100 today. 92 degrees for High and Palm. Forest Glen about 91. Ruth about 97. There's your North Coast neighborhood forecast, southern Humboldt County. Places like Redway could get up to 105 tomorrow, maybe a bit of a dip Thursday, Friday. But basically, upper 90s to a little over 100 degrees here. As you head out towards the south here. There you can see about Fortuna, about 70. Now, someone was asking me yesterday, is Fortuna considered coast or inland? And it's a little combination of both, because there's a nice influence that we can get. If you get that offshore flow, then you'll definitely see those warmer temperatures. But if you get that nice onshore flow, you can certainly be influenced by that and see those cooler temperatures. So I would say more of a coastal type temperature than you would be, say, the inland. Right? But it may be just a tad warmer than the coastal because it is far enough inland that sometimes you may see that a little bit warmer as a result. 78 degrees for Blue Lake, 68 degrees for Eureka, and there's 77 for Trinidad. Kind of the same thing for Blue Lake. It's pretty far inland, but you can get that nice little influence of that cooler air coming in from the coast. But of course, you don't typically see that for the higher elevations like Hoopa and Willow Creek, where temperatures there will be over 100 degrees today. 101 for Orleans. Gas Key doesn't typically get as hot either, but about 88. 74 degrees out in Orick. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Now along the Highway 96 corridor, mid-90s give or take. Low 90s for the I-5 corridor, about 92 degrees for Gazelle. For Scott Valley, basically low 90s. Places like Fort Jones, about 88 degrees for that daytime high. Take you out to central, eastern Siskiyou County. 87 degrees for Tule Lake, 89 for Weed, 91 for Mount Shasta City. And there are those temperatures, of course, increasing up to 100 degrees or higher by the 4th of July. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. We're going to hold off until Friday before we hit 100 degrees for Alturas, but should stay right around 100 through the weekend and into early next week. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. How about Bernie? I think you'll be up to 100 degrees here by 4th of July. and then staying that above 100 degrees here, and really even around 100 degrees through Monday of next week. All right, let's take you down to the south here, and there you can see looking out at Lassen Park and Lake Almanor. Now we should see 100 degrees for Chester by Friday, and that'll be the case on Saturday as well. But look at Lassen Park. Now, of course, we're not going to see hundreds. We're not even going to see 90s for the most part, but it's getting warm up there even. I mean, upper 80s, that's pretty warm, especially for this time of the year in Lassen Park. So really the best place to cool off during the peak of this heat wave is going to be on the coast. We may see an influx of people going to the coast. May be hard to find a hotel. All right, take a look at the eastern mountains to the south. Paradise, you're going to be, of course, 100 degrees or higher. Susanville, you'll hold off until about Thursday, Friday before you start seeing some of those triple digits. Let's take you out to the Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. Not struggling to reach the triple digits at all. 108, 109, 110. We keep it that way. I mean, this is just an extended outlook here. It looks like Shasta Lake, about 108, 110 for Redding, 109 for Palisadro, 109 for Cottonwood. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. Whew. You know, it's just take it in. I mean, I don't even need to say anything. I could just sit here and let you look at this. There's really not much I can say about it. All right, it's just hot. That's just the bottom line. As I sip my hot cup of coffee. So, hot. Hot. All right, what's going on here? You know, these iPads. I've got an old iPad, probably an iPad that I've had for probably 10 years or so. It might be time to upgrade it. I don't know. We'll see. Do I need an iPad? I don't know. I'm seeing if I like this system that I got here with the iPad, but I thought I'd try this. Let's see here. Oh, I'm kind of using a mouse. Tracy Sackett is chiming in this morning. She is saying, thank you for what you do. And I appreciate those comments, folks. This is quite a leap I took, breaking away from TV and coming out on my own. And I got to tell you, I'm enjoying it. I was actually just out poolside with my wife yesterday afternoon when it was pretty hot out there. We were trying to help keep Nessie a little on the cool side, trying to help keep her cool. And I was kind of going through everything with Weather NorCal, how it's doing, where how it's looking this month, and as we move forward. And it's looking better. It's looking better. And I'm definitely feeling a lot better about this. There were times over the last year that it was definitely pretty scary because anyone who's ever owned a business or has started a business, you know the challenges that one can be faced with when you start a new business. They always say 1 to 2 years is what you got to give it before you can really start feeling comfortable. I'd say I feel very comfortable at this point after a year in, and I'm very confident that a second year in it's going to be even better. So I appreciate those comments. I appreciate it when you all mention that you appreciate me. And don't be afraid to come up to me in public and say hello. Tell me that you watch Weather NorCal. Because one of the things that I try to gauge is to, part of this business is you put yourself out there. Part of this industry. And, that's part of what we enjoy is when the public comes up and says hi and says that they watch and they appreciate us and that they watch us and support us. So when you come up to me and say, hey, watch you on Weather NorCal every day, or whatever, watch you on Weather NorCal, that's what I like to hear. Because as I started gauging things, when I first left and started Weather NorCal, in the first couple of months, it was like, how's retirement? I had to remind them I had Weather NorCal. And then suddenly there was this shift, probably about 8-10 months in, where people were saying, watch you on Weather NorCal. And that really did make a big difference, and that made me feel a lot better about what it is I'm doing. All right, that is going to do it for us today. Of course, we've been talking about the heat. It's been getting very hot out there. Let's take a look at some cameras to kind of wrap things up this morning. We're going to get, of course, cue up the music. There you go. We got the music going. We're taking a look at Lake Oroville right now, and you can see that we have the wind is a-blowing in some spots here. especially in the valley, and that's why you have the high fire danger. So stay cool, drink water, and if you can, water with electrolytes. Put a little sea salt in there or some form of electrolytes. Don't drink coffee. Coffee is not the best thing to hydrate you. In fact, it dehydrates you. Don't drink alcohol. That dehydrates you. So stay cool, stay safe. Let's not get any new fire starts out there. Don't mow any dry grass today, even this morning, even this evening. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it tomorrow morning. Don't do it tomorrow. Don't do it the rest of the week. Let's be safe out there, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger starting at 7 a.m. Until then, stay safe. Have a great day. We'll see you.